Bro, what's up?
Last episode we talked about the power of the mind.
Yes.
And this is a pretty specific piece of that, but I wanted to break this out into a separate episode because I feel like this is something that people do
Every single
day.
Mother Day. Yeah.
And the title of this is Jumping to Conclusions.
Which reminds me of Office Space.
Yeah? Which one?
Where
Which
he
part?
makes the mat where you jump to conclusions.
Oh. Man, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Anyway. Yeah, I love your example in the last episode. Your boss at the end of the day says, hey, let's have a meeting tomorrow morning.
And then you go home.
You go home and you're like, what's it about?
Absolutely obsessed. You create all these scripts in your head.
You're like,
I'm
they're going to
fired.
layoffs,
I screwed
demoted,
something up. Yeah.
something went wrong.
Something went wrong.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then the next morning, the boss is like, oh, wait, yeah, I forgot. We're just...
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Just think like when your spouse says like, hey, why didn't you do the dishes? And you jump to the conclusion that they hate you and think that you're a terrible piece of shit.
Yeah.
It
some
happens.
Some people are in that place in life.
So we jump to conclusions. So we're going to break it down today from a focus standpoint, from a science standpoint. And we're going to hit this whole thing of... one title of this episode could have been Fact, Fiction, and Focus, because sometimes we take a few facts
Yeah, and turn
and
into
add a shit ton of fiction.
Yeah.
And create this series of short stories.
yeah. You take your little... yeah, that's... Never mind.
So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. Let's dig in. I don't have the touch. Did I write these or did you? Oh, I wrote these. Half of those.
I'm Jonathan Noel.
And I'm Brian Noah,
This is the Focus Cast.
where we help remove distractions
Increase focus.
so you can live a life with
Intentions.
intentions. Sweet. Live a life on intention? In intention?
With intentions.
With intentions?
Maybe, right? Does that make the most sense?
I think so.
All right, so we're talking about jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. This is a big one when it comes to focus because we focus on a lot of bullshit that we create in our heads.
Yeah, you might even say most of it's bullshit,
Yeah, most of it.
you know?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk through this and then we're gonna come up with some nice little tips on not jumping to conclusion.
Fuck yeah, we got tips in here?
We got some tips in here, bro.
All right, definition. Seems pretty obvious, but we just threw it in there. Jumping to conclusions is a phenomenon where people reach a conclusion prematurely on the basis of insufficient information.
Yeah. Man. The cognitive tendency of jumping to conclusions, abbreviated JTC for
Yep.
you abbreviation nerds out there, is implicated in social anxiety and delusional disorders in what researchers call the threat anticipation model.
From Psychology Today.
Yeah. So the brain wants to function quickly, right? So it has some shortcuts.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's in here somewhere.
Nice.
No, seriously.
Oh, cool.
It's an efficiency thing.
Yeah.
You know, because in a regular day, so you don't have to sit there and like analyze every single thing and trying to get all the information all the time
Yeah.
to make some super informed decision, like you're buying a house. Imagine if it felt like buying a house if you're just going to say yes to someone asking you if you want to like whatever.
Go to lunch.
Go to lunch.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Right.
So yeah, it's just being efficient. But in that, sometimes people might have a tendency to jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is in new research by the University of East Anglia, UK's James Hurley and colleagues, 2018. JTC interpretation bias is tested as a process that leads people to assume wrongly that a situation presents them with physical, social, or physiological harm.
Ooh. Yeah.
So a piece of this, in fact, if it's jumping to conclusions, I guess it's typically negative.
Yeah.
It's not jumping to, I guess delusional would be like, oh, everything's going to work out. I'm going to drink 40 beers and drive a
home.
Porsche that I rented.
I think that might be just
And everything's going to be fine.
a fucking idiot.
But yeah,
In this context, JTC is typically you're jumping to negative conclusions.
right. That a situation presents them with physical, social, or physiological harm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
Someone doesn't smile at you, they hate you.
Yeah.
They don't say good morning, they're pissed off at you.
Yes.
Your boss wants the meeting or whatever. We keep talking about that one.
Yeah.
Someone's getting fired.
Yeah.
It's probably you because
Yeah.
you suck. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
That sounds exhausting.
that sounds exhausting.
So you're confronted with emotionally ambiguous situation and automatically conclude that the situation will come out badly for you because other people are out to hurt you.
Yeah. Jumping to conclusions.
Man.
That does sound exhausting. So why?
Yeah. Why do we do this?
Yeah, the main reason why people jump to conclusions is that our cognitive system relies on mental shortcuts called heuristics.
Ooh.
I just learned this term.
Heuristics.
Which increase the speed of our judgment and decision-making processes at the cost of reducing their accuracy and optimality. That's from effectivology.
Damn.
So,
There it is.
You know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to treat every single decision like you're buying a house.
Yeah.
You know, a huge life-changing decision every time, just to decide what color pencil you want to, what color pen you want to buy for the office.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, shortcuts makes sense.
Yeah.
You're just trying to function.
Yeah. I think, have you met the person in a conversation where they finish your sentence constantly?
I don't hang out with those people. I cut them out of my life.
So there's people in this world outside of your perfect life, Jonathan, of wonderful human beings.
I gave them the axe.
You came to some conclusions on that. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, for work environments or things like that,
Yeah.
when you're in a meeting or something like that, or you're talking to someone, there's certain people do this, they're just really bad at it. And they'll just constantly assume that they know what you're going to say. And then they just step right over you and kind of finish your thought, even if it's not right, and keep going.
Sounds
That's like an extreme example of like someone who's
pretty irritating.
super obnoxious when jumping to conclusions. It's like in an argument
They
with your
think they know.
spouse, and they're like, they say something. I mean, I've done this a few times. I've had to stop myself or say
Yeah.
like, okay, that was wrong. You know, where my wife would start to say something, and then I would finish, and she's like, that's not at all what I was gonna say, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Like, oh, now I feel like an idiot. And if you're doing that and you're wrong all the time,
Yeah.
maybe you
Shut up.
should feel.
Stop talking. The concept of jumping to conclusion is generally seen as a cognitive bias in cases where people jump to conclusions as a result of an imperfect way in which our cognitive systems work, which can cause us to rush ahead and make intuitive judgments. You know, it's funny, right? Like,
Hit the last bit.
oh,
Without relying on sufficient information and a thorough reasoning process.
yeah, that's important. But what's crazy is like in pursuit of efficiency gains,
You lose accuracy.
we lose accuracy. So anyway,
What is it? What is the classic thing like speed, cost, and
time. Oh
yeah,
no,
it's
quality.
quality, time, and cost.
Yes, cost, time,
Pick-
and quality.
Pick two.
Yeah, pick two.
Yeah. So you can't have it all.
Yeah, we're getting our house renovated, and I was like, I want to do this within my budget,
Oof.
and I want it to be good. So I'm just gonna move out of my house, and
Yeah.
whenever it's done, we'll move back in.
You've given up the time.
I've given up the time.
Yeah.
I mean, once our family's settled in a Airbnb outside of the house, like, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Like, I'm not gonna want to move back. Anyway, jump into conclusions. So here's some examples, ways we JTC.
JTC, bruh.
Casual assumption. Oh, I love these. Okay. These are great.
Yeah, this is just kind of a list of the most common or whatever the ways that people jump to conclusions.
Yeah, so we have 7 ways that human beings JTC. And these are good, right?
JTC.
Number 1, casual assumption. Casual assumption involves making a relatively minor intuitive assumption that is based on your pre-existing knowledge, experience, and beliefs. That's casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like assuming hey, I've had this friend for a long time, and I'm just going to assume they don't want to do this because last time they said they don't give a shit about bowling.
Yeah.
So I jump to
Casual
conclusions
assumption.
that they don't want to go.
Yeah.
But they might want to go this time.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to see everyone.
Yeah.
But you're jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. Pre-existing knowledge, experience, or beliefs.
Yeah. That's a very minor
Yeah.
example. That's about as minor as it gets, I
Yeah.
think.
If you're like, hey, I want to go get Chinese, and they're like, I don't want Chinese, and then the next time you don't even recommend it.
Exactly.
And then they're like, I really want some Chinese, and you're just like,
What the
I don't know
fuck?
what you want.
What the fuck last time you said?
Then you might have an anger problem.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
what's next?
Inference, observation, confusion.
Ooh.
Okay, this one's cool. This is an example would be like, you think someone's rich because they have a nice car.
Ooh, inference observation.
Right.
So you
see
observe something about them or
Yeah.
around them or that they do,
Yeah.
and then you conclude who they are
Yeah.
personality-wise.
You just look at their Yeezys and you make all these assumptions.
Yeah. Who would wear those? I only have 3 pairs. No, that's good. And I think, right,
This happens literally all the fucking time.
this is how we run
this
our
is
society.
this is not even
This is normal.
this is just life, I
Yeah.
think.
This is how our society runs. This
Yeah.
is why people buy nice cars even though they can't afford it. Because
Yeah.
they want people to think
Yeah.
that other people think they're rich.
You think you're cool because you have a Mercedes, but it's the bottom of the line
Yeah,
that's
300
BMW.
series.
Yeah, that's BMW. What is the small one? C class.
C-Class.
C as in crap. C as in cat shit.
I mean, if you're buying a luxury car and it's C-Class,
Yeah. S class for Mercedes or G wagon. That's it. Those are your only two.
yeah. If you got a G-Wagon, I think you're cool.
You know what's funny? I have this association with G wagons of criminals.
Yes. Oh, mobsters.
Not necessarily white collar criminals too.
Yeah.
I just imagine shady business,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
It's probably the movies because
It's probably
every
the-
movie
The
with every bad person
They have-
has
they
an
have-
entourage of G-Wagons.
It's true,
Every one of them.
but they're just so impractical.
You've been
In
conditioned.
fact, they're so stupid that they're awesome. Does that even make sense?
But if you
Like, there's these boxy, inefficient.
if you're constantly in a state of potentially being in a shootout, they're probably a pretty practical car.
You know what? If I was a criminal like that, I would want a G wagon with like the armor, bulletproof armor.
Yeah.
That thing would be a fucking tank.
I know. When we reach a certain level, we
Yeah.
are going to go nuts overlanding in a G-Wagon.
Overland G wagon.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet.
All right, what's another one?
Fortune telling. So fortune telling involves assuming that you know exactly what will happen in the future. I'm going to fail this test. I'm not going to get this promotion.
Jump into conclusions.
Yeah.
This is not going to work out.
Yeah. I'm not going to get the promotion.
I'm not going to get anything.
That girl's not going to like me. She's
Yeah.
going to think I'm ugly.
Yep.
Well, you know what that girl doesn't want?
Someone who thinks they're ugly.
Yeah. She wants someone who's confident. And if you're really going like, she's not going to like me, well, she's probably not going to like you.
Yeah. No one wants to be around that kind of energy.
Doesn't matter how fugly you are.
Yeah.
You show up with confidence. Damn.
And you're funny?
And you're funny.
This is for the boys out there.
Yeah, that's right. You show up in the club with confidence.
Yeah.
You buy a round of drinks for a girl.
Who's it? Hey, who is it? Who's the comedian, the big guy? Ralphie May.
Yes.
He's like, he literally has a whole skit. He's like, I did pretty well for a fat guy. Talking about like hooking up with chicks.
Yeah.
I did pretty well for a fat guy. You know, he's like,
He was probably, in my opinion, one of the funniest comedians.
he was funny.
All right, what's next?
Okay, mind reading.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, mind reading involves assuming that you can accurately know what the other person or people are thinking. This would be an example would be like, this person doesn't like me because they didn't say good morning or they didn't smile or yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You just assume you know what's going on in their head.
Yeah.
What's funny is a lot of this shit is everyone's assuming all these things about other people and not thinking about the bullshit day that they're going through.
Yeah. Maybe their day wouldn't be so bullshit if they weren't so worried about what everyone else is thinking.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if you're having a day
Yeah.
and you're not looking at everyone smiling and happy, that doesn't mean you don't like them.
Right.
That just means you have your own stuff going on.
Yeah, and certain people just RBF.
Yeah, rest in bitch face.
Yeah, like some people just, you just look at them and they're like, that person hates me.
Yeah.
And they're like in their head going like, I really like that person. That's a nice person.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. They're
You're just jumping to conclusions.
super introverted.
Just making shit up
Yeah.
all day.
All day. Extreme extrapolation.
Oh.
So extreme extrapolation involves taking a minor detail or event and using it in order to conclude something relatively major. So I love this example. You like heavy metal music? You worship Satan.
Yeah.
Or like you voted for Trump, you must be a racist.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
All right? It's
Yeah.
like taking something.
Extreme extrapolation.
Yeah.
You know?
You live in this certain neighborhood, you must be this.
Yeah. You live here, you must be rich, or you live here, you must be poor.
Yeah.
You vote this way, you must be a degenerate,
Yeah.
racist.
Goes both
person.
ways,
Yeah.
which is funny. Extreme extrapolation.
Extreme extrapolation.
Taking something, making it extreme. I love it. Overgeneralization.
Yeah. Overgeneralization involves taking a piece of information that applies to specific cases and then applying it everywhere.
Yeah. All cops are bad.
Yep.
All politicians are crooked.
Or scum.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
All
All rich people are assholes.
evil.
Yeah.
You
All
know?
poor people are lazy.
All poor people are stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, lazy. That's a good one.
Yeah.
They think because they're poor, they're lazy.
Yeah. Which is, all these are not true.
Right.
None of these are true. None of them are true.
None of it is true for everyone because everyone is a person.
Yeah.
This is not.
Some rich people are very lazy.
Yeah, because
Some poor people work really, really hard.
yeah, some rich people are trust fund babies.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do shit.
Yeah.
So.
Some cops are great.
Yeah. Some are not.
Some are terrible.
Turns out people are people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Labeling. So labeling involves making assumptions about people based on behaviors or opinions that are stereotypically associated with the group that they belong to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny after reading these examples of jumping to conclusions, this just feels like how everyone operates all the time.
Yeah.
That basically everyone's spending all of their time just making assumptions about everything around them.
Yeah. Just think like
And how much of it is wrong?
most of it, probably.
Like sit there and really audit yourself.
Yeah.
How much of this is actually right?
And how much is even relevant for
How much
you
is-
to even fucking think?
How much does it even matter?
How much does it matter?
That's why I just don't think about anything.
Yeah. I mean, all these things, it's so good, though. It really is good because these are just so practical.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
we do this stuff.
All day.
And what's crazy is our brains are wired to do it. So if you don't want to do it,
Yeah, it's wired to be efficient.
yeah, if you don't want to be extremely biased towards every person that you see and put them in some group based on their race,
Yeah.
their gender, or their political affiliation or their religious affiliation, if you don't want to do that, you have to like consciously
Yeah.
not do it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's just how it is,
Yeah.
which is funny. But I love this example. This is my favorite example. I think I've mentioned this a couple times on the podcast, but if I'm late, it's my circumstance. If you're late, it's your character.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that quote.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the classic boss
Yeah.
type.
I'm late. Oh, I had a rough morning. I worked really hard last night. Blah, blah, blah. If you're late, you're lazy. You don't care.
Yeah.
You don't own this, do you? No, I don't.
Yeah. So,
It's like I was literally about to put my kid on the bus and he shit all over the place and I had to clean up an entire room of shit. Sorry, I'm 10 minutes late.
what is it?
Why were you late on Tuesday?
Rules for thee and not for me or some shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame, but,
Yeah,
it's true.
it's true.
That's how people operate.
That's how we operate. So some solutions. I love this absolute first bullet. We've got about 5 bullets here to help you pull yourself out of this constant state of jumping to conclusions. And it does require some intentional work, but here's the first one. Slow the motherfuck down. And force yourself to think through a given. Just slow down. Slow your mind down.
Yeah.
Just call yourself out. Just call your freaking self out. Just slow down and be like, oh man, I have this assumption about that person. Oh, why?
Yeah. This person's quiet. They don't like me. They're unhappy.
Yeah.
This person is this. Why don't they act a certain way? This is you. This is you pushing what you think how someone else should act on someone else.
Yeah.
People are different.
Yeah. Most likely in that very specific example, it's that you weren't accepted by your parents. And so therefore, anyone around you that doesn't affirm you obsessively, you feel like that they don't appreciate you or respect you. So you just got to slow down. You got to slow down and think through that.
Yeah. And remember that everyone has their own shit going on.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Like I remember, anyone who knows me knows that I talk a lot to strangers.
Yeah.
My business partner Donnie is from Savannah, and we were in some hotel in L.A. We were in the elevator, and I was like, "What's up, man? Where are you from?" And he's like, "Savannah." And me and Donnie just busted out laughing because we're in L.A.
Yeah.
Who's from Savannah?
Not many.
That
people.
guy.
That guy. The guy in the elevator.
Yeah, and it was just
And if
so
you
funny.
hadn't talked to a random dude, you wouldn't have found out.
Yeah, and but it's just like at the end of the day, a lot of times if you just go talk to people, like I was, this guy was, I assume he was homeless. He had a cart filled with stuff, and he was walking down the road. So I went and talked to him, and because he had a guitar, and I had like 15 minutes to kill. I was like, oh cool, I'm just gonna go talk to him. That'll be fun. So I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man, I got this guitar. I love my guitar. I play all the time, and I'm just saving up for a case so it doesn't get wet when it rains. And I'm just like, this guy,
He loves his guitar.
he's just like, he was so kind. He didn't have one negative thing to say.
Yeah.
He didn't ask me for money. He didn't ask me for a case. We were just talking.
Yeah.
He's like,
Human to human.
human to human. He's like, yeah, man.
Person to person.
We're all trying to figure things out.
Not homeless guy to person who's on a business trip.
Yeah.
Not,
Nope.
person who has guitars and person who has one
Has one, needs a case.
and needs a case.
I mean,
Just human to human.
yeah, it's crazy.
Like
Slow down.
you could have made a fuckload of assumptions. Oh, it's another homeless drug addict.
Probably tried to be a musician.
Some fucking guy steals from his grandma to buy whatever drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, people do this shit,
Yeah.
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 Oh, here's another low life fucking street urchin. And you just do all these things and it's horrible.
I know.
And you talk to him for 5 minutes. You're like, oh,
He's a great guy.
turns out people are people.
Yeah. Yep. What's next?
Another thing we can do, bro, is actively ask yourself what information could help you reach a valid conclusion and how you can get that information.
Yeah, I love this. So the biggest tip, I think, in jumping to conclusions is like, be very mindful of what actual information you have that's fact, and what of it is just
That's easier said than done, depending
pure
on
hearsay.
where you're getting it. But yeah, if it's an office rumor, don't treat it like it's the gospel.
Yeah. Just what do you know? My favorite thing to do is just go straight up to someone and ask them. Like if someone talks about me and I hear it through someone else, my favorite thing to do is just to go right up to them randomly and just say, such and such said this. Did you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. We should all be doing that.
Just, phew.
Just cut out all the middleman
Yeah.
bullshit,
What's the truth?
all the gossip.
Oh, you didn't say that? Cool. All right. Oh, you did say that? Why?
Yeah,
Why didn't you say it to me?
yeah.
What's next? Collect as much information as you can before forming an initial hypothesis. Yeah, there we go. Question all your premises and ensure that they are well-founded.
Well-founded. Well-founded.
Well-founded. Question all your premises. I mean, all this is just under like, just take time to think through it.
Yeah.
Take time.
Yeah, why do I make all these assumptions about this group? Why do I do extreme extrapolation?
Yeah.
Why do I think that, whatever.
Yeah, and some of this is generational, right?
Yeah,
Right, passed down. Like if you heard your parents say a certain thing about a certain group of people over and over again, you have to like
yeah,
intentionally deprogram yourself.
yeah. But same thing if you grew up with like the hyper-religious thing,
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you watch Lord of the Rings, you're worshiping Satan,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the opposite would be so anti-religious. They're like, oh, all these nut jobs
Yeah.
are idiots.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't have an entire group of individuals and every single one of them be
Idiots.
idiots.
Yeah.
People are people.
People are people, man. Just trying to figure it out.
Just trying to figure it out. I mean, most of this shit is, we talk about this. Everything we're doing, all the subconscious decisions, yada, 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 is programming, right?
Yeah.
You were raised, your parents said all this, you went to school, you hung out with these people.
Yeah.
How much of it is yours and how much is it that you picked up?
So many of us would like to think that
That it's yours.
it's all ours. I operate fully out of my will. And that's just not true.
That's fucking hilarious.
And then someone cuts them off in traffic and they lose their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how much of it is yours and how much is it conditioning from everything?
Everything.
From being a kid, from your parents telling you not to play or not to be loud and not to do this and squashing your spirit. You know, you're playing with Legos wrong.
Yeah.
All the way up to school.
Where every day
You
you're
have
in a
to-
class where you're told that you have to sit there and listen.
You have to raise your hand to take a piss.
Yeah.
Do you think, thousands of years ago, humans were like, can I go take
They're
a
in the
pee
tribe.
pee?
They're in the tribe.
Can I go take a pee pee? No, you just piss. If you go, you just go take a shit. You don't ask permission.
I never thought about that.
These are the little things.
The little things.
These are the little ones. There's the big ones, but now we're getting down to like, but every piece of obey and sit down and shut up from when you're a kid and don't do this and don't do that.
Yeah.
And then
boys don't do this and girls don't do that.
and yeah, you don't cry if you this and you don't do this, and you're just every time a little piece of you that is your true self gets chipped away and conditioned,
Yeah.
and then
By
you
the
want
time you're
to
an adult.
act like you're yourself. You are just an amalgamation of all the shit that everyone told you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I figured it out. I'm trying to unwind it. It's a big fucking mess. It's a lot of twine.
Yeah.
But you have to think about everything that influenced you growing up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
Right? So yeah, don't jump to conclusions.
Oh man. On that note.
Oh yeah, last piece.
Oh yeah. What do we got? What
Ask
did we
yourself
miss?
whether you might be rushing to form a conclusion too early.
Yeah. Probably yes.
I think so, probably.
And ask yourself if you even need to come to a conclusion.
Ask yourself if it matters.
Does it matter?
Yeah. And are you really going to fail the test? No.
No. Are all cops bad?
Cherokee County. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Are all politicians corrupt? All of them?
I mean,
I fall into the lens of some of them are extremely corrupt. The majority of them just found themselves in a system where they have to maintain corruption, but they're wealthy enough to where they've made themselves okay with it.
yeah.
And then some of them are actively trying to do a good job.
I think
And that's probably the majority of human beings in that construct.
what I think that some people don't think about is you can still be selfish and make selfish decisions for you and your family and still care about
Yeah.
being a politician too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and-
I'd rather have a politician who cares about trying to do something great and might do some like shady money stuff on the side. That's honestly whatever.
Yeah.
It's par for the course, really.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, you don't get into politics to not make more money,
Right.
to not use your knowledge
Yeah.
and influence to increase your wealth.
Yeah. We all do that.
Why the fuck would you join politics if that's not part of it?
Yeah.
So I get that. But you
Yeah.
can still care,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's the ones that the dinosaurs that are so disconnected, right? The term limits, when everyone talks about term
Oh
limits.
my gosh, yeah. What's his name
Like-
that just froze 3 times in the
Like,
past 2 months?
Imagine you've been a career politician, you've had, bodyguards and private jets flying around, all this shit for 40 years. Are you
Are you trying to give that up?
No, but I'm saying how can you even be connected to the average American at that point?
I know.
I mean, at some point you have to forget what it's like to even operate in modern world
Oh yeah.
as a career politician,
Oh yeah.
because your life is this. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Get the dinosaurs the fuck out.
Get him out. What's the story? The lady who her daughter has power of attorney over her entire state, but she's still an active senator or congresswoman.
I don't know.
That one's been hitting the feed quite a bit.
I don't follow any of it.
Yeah.
That's all bullshit to me.
You jumping to conclusions, bro?
Yep. You caught me red-handed. Yeah, and there's a couple parts we're cutting out.
It's all bullshit. You jumping to conclusions? Thank you for listening.